When people go through traumatic events, usually what some people say, that is when you find out who your true friends are, who the real people are that are going to stick around and be there for you and help you through rough times. And then sometimes people you don't even know will come into your life and help with that situation. For example, this certain situation, it's a missing 8-year-old, a child, still a baby. And for any parent, this would be one of their most vulnerable of times. So if you are fragile and vulnerable right now, how do you know that that kind stranger that came out of the blue to help you isn't deceiving you, isn't a wolf in sheep's clothing? Hello, I am your host, Amari, and with me is my lovely friend,
the Granny.
And welcome to our podcast. This is a place where we don't shy away from gruesome details where some things may be triggering and hard to hear. So get yourself in the right frame of mind and let's talk about dark shit.
All right, let's do it.
I'm going to start real quickly and say sorry about last week. We did not post anything. I am still kind of recovering. I have a voice now, but I'm very stuffy sounding. But at least I have somewhat of a voice, so yay.
Yes, we have something to work with here.
Yes. Okay, this case is about 8-year-old Jamie Lavis from Openshaw. That's a suburb of Manchester, Greater Manchester, England. This little boy was such a joy. He was described by his mother, Karen Spooner, and father, John Lavis Sr., as fun, cheeky, and mischievous. I love that. He was originally meant to be a twin, but the other twin got lost in utero. So I think because of that, even though he was 8 years old, he was small enough to fit in the clothes of a 5-6-year-old. But that didn't stop him from having a huge personality. His mother said that he loved to eat. He would wake up around 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning with his father, eat breakfast with him. He would leave to work, and then his mom would wake up to make breakfast for all the kids, and he would act like he was starving. So cute. And despite him being mischievous, he was always inside the house by sunset. And that's because he was scared of the dark. And this is why on Monday, May 5th, 1997, it was odd to his mother that he wasn't home by dinner yet. He wouldn't miss dinner. Like she said, he loved to eat. And he wouldn't be outside still. It's getting dark. They called the police because this isn't like their 8-year-old to not be home yet. Something was wrong. For the next couple of days, he's still missing, so the family would be out searching and putting up signs. And then one day, a man who lived a few houses down the street said he saw Jamie on the 5th. This neighbor, his name is Darren Vickers, was a bus driver. And on that day, he said he saw Jamie on his bus. And yes, I did say Monday, May 5th. And the reason Jamie wasn't in school is because it was a banking holiday, so there was no school. Jamie had purchased an all-day bus pass, he says, because, Jamie wanted to get out of the house. And some sources say that he wanted to go out to get something for his mother, but also he just loved to ride the bus. It was his thing. And since he had a pass, Darren said he just let him ride the bus pretty much his whole shift. And I'm just going to let you know, I'm going to go back and forth between calling him his first name, Darren, or just calling him by his last name, Vickers. So by the end of his shift, Jamie was still there. And he told Jamie, since they lived on the same street, that he will drive him to their street where they lived. And that is what he did. And that was the last time that he saw Jamie walking towards his house while he was walking into his. Darren felt so guilty that he may have been the last one to see little Jamie, and because of this, he felt like it was up to him to help the family. He immersed himself into the Lavis family. He was there pretty much every single day, helping them with whatever they needed. He would coordinate searches for Jamie, go on the news, and he would urge people to look for him. He would even be there when the parents would get questioned by the news. Actually, what he would do is that anytime there was any questions towards Karen and John, Darren would be the one who would step forward and talk for them. He would even be the first on the scene whenever there was any radio talks about anything involving Jamie, and that's because he had a police scanner to listen in on. So he would take them, the parents, and go to that scene. First one's there. Kind of weird. He became their trustee, basically. And they let him be in charge of it all because, they're pretty broken right now. And they also have other children to look after. Darren would even help with the other kids. Darren would take the older brother, John Jr., out and about. But for someone who didn't know the family before this, and yeah, he did feel bad and everything for being the last one to see Jamie, people were starting to think he was involving himself way too much. It got to the point where he was over there so much that he lost his job as a bus driver and he was kicked out of his own home because he neglected his family. Yeah.
What?
He is married and has 2 children of his own.
I mean, be there if they're your friends, but I mean, don't neglect your own family.
He didn't know them. They didn't know him.
Amadi, I smell fish.
Smell fish.
And I'm not liking it because wouldn't he be maybe even a suspect if he was the last person to see this child and they're not even friends?
Right? Or maybe he was like, oh, this guy is our neighbor. He feels so bad, He was the last one, so he feels guilty that he was the last person.
I'm sorry. If my kid, I don't have kids, but nor do I plan to, but if I have kids and one of them goes missing and I hear that some neighbor gave him a ride, I'm like going to be suspicious as hell.
Yeah, the police, they were looking into him.
Okay, good.
I'm not going to, they were looking into him too.
I'll let you speak.
But it's kind of weird though, because I'm pretty sure other families who have their own kids, if they hear like, oh, a local story of a kid went missing, yeah, they'll probably want to help or share the story, but you would also want to be with your own kids, hugging them like, oh my God, please don't leave my sight, don't go on the bus. No, he neglected his own kids too.
Yeah, I don't. And I smell fish, but I'll let you continue.
Yeah. So since he was kicked out of his own house, it's fine because he ended up moving with the Lavis family.
What?
Mm-hmm.
This grown man. Okay.
Yes. So they let him move in and he ended up sleeping in the master bedroom's bed. He slept in their bed, but not with them. They offered their bed to him and they slept in the living room.
Why?
I don't know. They never said a reason why. I'm thinking it's because he has been there for them every single day and kind of taking over things for them, that they just have all this trust into him now. That's the only thing I can think of.
I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
I don't know. I don't know if other people would do the same thing. I
don't know. I don't know. Okay, I'll let you continue.
So even the police, like you said, they thought that he was being too obsessive. In an article with Manchester Evening News, retired officer Asif Hussain, probably said his name wrong, who was the family police liaison, meaning he was pretty much there every single day with the family, did not trust Vickers from the get-go.
I know. I just something's not sitting right in me right now.
Yes, you're not the only one.
You can edit this out, but I was like, they gave him their bed. Did they tuck him in and tell him a bedtime story as well? I'm sorry, I just had to let that out.
I just feel like, I don't know, everybody acts different when going through their own horrifying situations. Like, they're missing one of their kids. And so some people go completely, numb. Some people shut off the world. And these people just almost, I don't know if this sounds mean, but they want to be taken care of. And that's what he was doing. He was taking care of them.
Yeah, I agree. Something's not sitting right.
The officer, being an officer, he knew what was up.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So what Officer Hussain said is that he felt like Vickers was a manipulative person. Pretty much that first day after meeting Vickers, he went to Detective Chief Superintendent Roy Rainford, the detective in charge, and told him that Vickers did it. He believes wholeheartedly Vickers did it. He just had this strong gut feeling. But he couldn't be mean to Vickers, and he couldn't say anything to Karen and John about it because they trusted Vickers with everything. Plus, you couldn't talk to them without Vickers actually being there. Like, you couldn't just have a regular conversation with just those two. He had to be there.
That's so strange to me.
Super suspicious. Like, why do you have to be involved so much?
Suspicious. I don't want to be mean either, but I mean, dude, they're going to give you maybe hard news, maybe like really important information, and your kid is missing. Like it should be and would be more like a family thing. Like
I think
if
at
they're gonna
that
give me a
point,
news, I'm gonna go. If it's something, I'll let you know. You guys can be here for me. I just need to go and listen to this on my own, and then I'll come back.
I think at that point, they just already considered him family.
That's so weird.
It is. And it's only been a few months, maybe a couple months. It hasn't been that long.
Yeah.
Like I said, he couldn't talk to them. Plus, if he was to say something to Karen and John about it, he's afraid that they would get mad at him and he would get kicked off the case. And he didn't want that because he had two small kids of his own. And he felt like he had to be there, like he had to protect that family from him, from Vickers. A couple of months later, Darren gets arrested for some driving violations. And I don't even know if they're real charges, honestly, or they were just trying to find ways to get him away from the family so they can actually talk to the family. But the Lavis family, they were not having it. They believed that they were trying to pin it on poor, innocent friend of the family, Darren. So they created a huge thing about it. And since there wasn't any proof of him doing anything wrong, they let him go. He had that whole family wrapped around his finger so freaking tightly that when they let him go, the family pretty much gave him like a hero's welcome when he got out.
What?
It's so annoying. So after he got out, he had the news come out to the house, their house, to interview him. And so he could say that he had nothing to do with Jamie's disappearance. And seeing some of the pictures from that interview, I'll put it up on Instagram, but it's disturbing. It's disturbing because they're sitting on the couch. Karen's on one side, and then Darren's in the middle, and then John. So John has his arms wrapped around them both. They're not smiling. Nobody's smiling in the picture. John and Karen look
Distraught.
not distraught. They don't look sad. They almost look like
A blink.
yeah, like a blank face. It's kind of a weird blank face that they both have. But John is in the middle with his arms around them, not smiling, like the same like serious face, shirtless. It's a very uncomfortable picture.
What?
I don't know why he posed like that. I don't know why he had to be shirtless, but that's the picture he took for the news. It was really weird. It's really weird to look at.
I don't know if you guys could hear that. I was scratching my head. I'm like, what in the world? I agree. It sounds like a manipulator.
Yeah.
Like somebody who, you're right, has this family like wrapped around his finger.
Mm-hmm. Somebody did say, though, that the way he positioned himself in the middle of those two was almost like he was taking the spot of Jamie.
What?
Yeah. Eventually, some witnesses did come out and said that they also saw Jamie on the 5th. These people were also on the bus. A few witnesses stated that they saw Jamie with Darren, and Darren was letting him play with the gears, handing out bus tickets, and playing with the windows. One witness saw Darren tousle Jamie's hair, just like how a father would. So he thought that Jamie must have been his son, and it was probably, a father-son thing, or father-son day. And Darren would even give Jamie some money to go get some sodas. This is nothing compared to what Darren told the police that happened that day. Eventually, CCTV video footage of that day around 10:30 a.m. near Ashton Old Road, you see Darren go up to Jamie, but he wasn't inside the bus. It was outside of the bus. He goes up to Jamie, talks to him, touches his hair, like ruffles it. Then he buys Jamie a bus pass because kids cannot buy bus passes. Also, the police find out that a few days prior to the 5th, Darren barely got hired as a bus driver. They also looked into that and saw that one of the references that he put down was an arrested pedophile.
Wait. What?
Yeah.
His reference is an arrested pedophile.
Yeah, was a pedophile. Yeah. Is a pedophile? Was
a
arrested.
pedophile.
Yeah, for being a pedophile. Yeah. So all this, they're like, no.
No, absolutely not. My
Like it was already enough.
are all like goosebumpy now.
Like it was already enough that he was being weirdly obsessive with the family in the case. And then they see like, wait, he knows a pedophile. This is not right. So a few months later, October 1997, Darren gets arrested for the abduction of Jamie Lavis. And while he got arrested, he kept trying to say he didn't do anything the whole time. But then he switches it up and tries to blame John Sr., Jamie's father, that he murdered his own son. He also tried to say that he was having an affair with Karen from the beginning and that she was pregnant with their child, which, except for the pregnancy, is all lies. She was pregnant. And poor Karen, she had to go get a DNA test just to prove that she wasn't carrying his child, Darren's child. And remember when I said that he would take the oldest son, John Jr., out? It was speculated that he would take John Jr. all around town to make it look like there were sightings of Jamie because they were almost the same stature. And it was said that he would take John Jr. to this local golf course and tell him to behave because there in the bushes, in the brush, is where Jamie is, and he could join him if he doesn't behave. There were even some kids or young teens who went to the police to tell them that Vickers was the man who was trying to lure them to the golf course. Let's go search for Jamie and stuff like that. But they felt a wrong vibe for him, so they didn't go.
Yeah. Oh.
He did tell a cellmate that what supposedly happened that day, on the 5th, was that Jamie was causing havoc on the bus, and towards the end of the day, he hit him so hard for misbehaving that he fell and hit his head, and that is how he passed away, which is complete bullshit, because what Vickers actually did, he groomed that poor boy by having him stay on the bus all day with him, letting him play, giving him money. Afterwards, after the end of the shift, he took him to the Reddish Vale golf course, sexually abused him, murdered him, and decapitated him. He buried his body underneath the brush. Little remains of Jamie were found. I read either months later, but also read as far as 2 years later. They found little pieces here and there, like a jawbone, but his remains were so heavily decomposed that they couldn't find exactly what happened. Darren Vickers, the pedophile bus driver,
yes,
was given a minimum of 25 years to life on April 1999.
25 years?
Minimum to life.
Oh, okay.
So that means that he is eligible to get paroled, or was eligible, the end of 2022.
But he was denied.
February 2023, when he was 56 years old, he was denied his freedom.
Good.
And he was also denied to go to an open jail.
What?
I think that means he's enclosed.
Oh.
Kind of thing. Like, you know how there's some jails that you can go out and, hang out with the population and everything like that.
No. Ew.
No. And
Freak.
Another thing that hurts, like I teared up, like this hurts. So the older brother, John Jr., at age 30, unalived himself. And it wasn't said why. There was no note. But there were some talks that all those times that Vickers took him out alone, that he was probably sexually abusing him, little John Jr., and threatening him to keep it quiet. So the talks are that he probably, kept this to himself. And as he got older, it took a toll on him. That's just some of the talks.
But there was no note, right?
I couldn't see anything about a note. And that's so hard. Like their sister, she actually made a Facebook page. It was originally about Jamie, and she would post all the time, like on his birthday, Christmas, like you would be this old and I miss you every day. And then she would even post, like share pictures of her and her kids and John Jr. taking pictures with his grave and making a little garden and bringing stuff. And then I hurt for them. Then she had to add him in there saying this was Jamie and John Jr. page because, he passed away as well. And then I believe I'm going to be wrong. It was recent, 2020, 2021. Her father passed away, John Sr. So she made it a page about all three of them, and she kind of just stopped posting. Like she lost all the guys in her family. Like this, it was hard.
That is pretty disheartening.
It is hard.
The sister, was she younger or older than the boys?
I want to say that I think she was older than the boys. I think she was older. Like just barely old, just a little bit older.
Because they were all,
they were little.
They were little, but they were all victims of that disgusting individual.
And the thing I couldn't find out is I couldn't find that if I read one place that he was arrested before for being a nasty asshole to little kids, but then I couldn't find it. Like I read it once and that was it. And another thing that I thought was weird is that I read a couple of years ago, I see it once, okay? I looked it up, found the page, lost the page, and I could not find the page ever again. About that in prison, that he got his head bashed in. Like he didn't die, but like he got beat in jail. I think it was like right before what I read was right before his parole hearing. Mm-hmm. This one prisoner who's been in there, I wish I could find it again. This one prisoner, he was in there ever since he was, I think, 12 or 15. Like he's a lifer. And that guy, I say he's a lifer because what I remember is that he would always beat up other prisoners. And
just like any prisoners or prisoners who had
it didn't say specific it didn't say specifically what.
Okay.
But he actually Darren ended up being one of the victims of this guy. He's just kicked his ass.
You know what? No comment.
I know. I wish I read more about it. I wish I could find that one again. That was angering because I thought that was pretty funny. I'm like, such a gay asshole. But that one hurt because that fucker got himself into that family, got them to freaking believe and just trust him so much. That is hard.
That they would let their kid go with him.
Well, yeah, because they didn't know anything.
Well, yeah. So he acted like how much they trusted him.
Yeah. When I was writing some of the notes down the other day, just hearing like full on tears, like covering my whole eyes. I was like, you fucking asshole.
Is he still alive?
Yes, he's still alive.
Well, yeah. 2022. Yeah, you know. Good. No parole for you and stay in, I guess, the enclosed prison.
Yeah.
No, you don't deserve to be outside.
Before I get all teary-eyed again, I feel it in my chest. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because he just snaked and, how do people say it? Weaseled himself in or...
Yeah. I don't know. At one point, what did you say? When he would go around and ask the little kids to go to the baseball...
the golf course?
The golf course. Thank you. I don't know. It just gave me goosebumps. I was like, oh, that's like...
He's still searching for kids.
Yeah. That's pretty sick, honestly. Ugh.
I think he got away with it for like just 5 months. And the mother did say in one article that it was just 5 months of living in like limbo.
But let us know what you guys think.
Yes, let us know if there's anything you guys want to listen to, want us to read about, and probably get upset and pissed and cuss.
Yeah, why not? That's what this channel's for.
I think you're nice.
I'm nice?
Yes, you call people rats. Don't call people rats. You say rat and I smell fish and you're a kind one, sir.
I guess I should let the occasional, I was going to say.
You see, you can't even say anything now.
I'll let the occasional cuss out. Cuss word.
You're too nice. It's okay.
Thank you. You know what? Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, everybody, be well.
Be safe.
And see you next time.
Bye.